are the New York Knicks. I'm back in the New York groove. Well, it's the Knicks. New York. We are the New York Knicks. New York. For this new season we're about to enter, the Knicks is taking no shorts, just like winter. New York, New York.
New York be about the Knicks, huh?
But the best thing about New York City is
K-N-I-C-K-S.
Everybody say go New York, go New York, go!
Welcome to episode 423 of the New York Knicks podcast, part of the Almighty Bowler Podcast Network and Dash Radio. I am Jay. How you doing, Mark?
You know, you said 490 something, and I was like, oh my god, we've done way too many shows. But 420 is also...
It's still way too many, yeah.
It's way too many. Why are we past like 12 episodes? The team has sucked the entire time we've done this show, except for the one good year in 2012-13. How do we keep doing this show, Jay? This should be our last episode right now.
We've spent more time doing this show than the average coach has spent with the Knicks.
I would say in total hours, we have outlasted at least a few coaches.
Yeah. Absolutely.
We have put more work into this team than Phil Jackson did in his time here.
That is a definite.
And that's not even close.
No.
So, we expect James Dolan, we know you're listening, obviously. We expect a payment for this work. This is not like we're not doing this like free of charge. This is not us. We expect James Dolan a lot of money, truckloads of money. Actually, I have good news to report, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Speaking of money.
Okay.
I know, Jay, that I've been contacted by the New York Knicks with something very important to do.
Okay.
I know that you're not in love with your current job, right?
We could say that, yeah.
Okay. And you're taking the CPA exam, trying to like better yourself. Would that be correct?
That is correct.
Well, what if I told you I have a job opportunity for you that pays not just kind of it? Take your salary and add like 4 zeros to it or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to do that? Would that be good?
Yeah. Who do I have to kill?
No one you have to kill. And what I tell you, basically, your salary is going to go up by like ridiculous amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be making 7 figures a year easily.
Mm-hmm.
And your job is going to be centered around the New York Knicks if you get the job.
I am 100% all on board for this idea. What is it?
Okay, so the New York Knicks have been interviewing everyone, literally everyone that has anything to do with the NBA for their head coaching position, and they've tasked me with interviewing you for the New York Knicks head coaching job.
Ooh.
If you get past the screen,
Mm-hmm.
You will then move on to James Dolan. We'll serenade you, and if you can sit through him playing 3 hours of his music, you'll have the job.
Ooh, this is going to be tough.
Yes. Are you down for interviewing for the New York Knicks head coaching job?
I am absolutely down.
There have been many great NBA talents that have, or minds that have interviewed for this job. Marc Jackson interviewed for this job.
Mm-hmm.
Every other player that's ever been associated with the Knicks has interviewed for this job.
Mm-hmm. Juwan Howard this week.
Juwan Howard this week. Why not? He's an assistant with Miami, I believe. The rumors have that the Knicks are the 2 front runners. Supposedly, have you heard about 2 front runners besides yourself?
Well, David Blatt got a second interview, I believe.
Yes. So David Blatt's one of the front runners, and from the Atlanta Hawks, Budinger. Am I pronouncing it right?
Budenholzer?
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 Butthole?
Sure.
We'll call it Butthole when he starts sucking immediately after getting here. Budenholzer. Those are the 2 favorites. Those 2, and of course yourself.
Okay. Stiff competition.
Stiff competition, but are you ready for your interview with the New York Knicks? Have you been prepping for this interview?
Ever since I found out about it.
Okay, good. So it's been like 13 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay, are you ready? So, my first question to you, I'll start the clock. I'm not sure why there's a clock going, but I'll start the clock anyway. And, Jay, tell me, what geometrical shape do you plan on running the offense with?
I haven't really settled on a shape. I have settled on what shape I will not be running, and
Okay.
that is a triangle.
Okay. Interesting. That's interesting. Is the East big?
Everybody knows the
Man.
East is big, man.
Okay. Okay.
Very big.
Very big. Okay. Tell me, what is KP's true position
The unicorn.
on the basketball court?
Unicorning.
Okay. Okay. Tell me, what do you do in this situation?
Mhm.
There are 17 seconds on the clock left.
Yes.
The Knicks are down by 1 point. KP has a sprained ankle, but swears he can play in the game. Timmy Hardaway has been on fire all night. And they both are calling for the ball, and you call a timeout. And during that timeout, your anxiety causes you to have a heart attack. What do you do?
As I'm falling to the ground, I point to Timmy because he's got the hot hand.
Okay, I like that. I like that. Tell me, defense.
Mhm.
Is that a part of basketball?
It is. It is. It seems like some prior coaches have not realized that, but yes, it is.
Okay, okay. Ntilikina.
Mhm.
Does it matter? Should he get playing time because he's very good on defense, even if his offense is below average?
Have you heard of Bruce Bowen?
That is a good answer, or a good response. Ntilikina, is he our future at point guard, our future shooting guard, or our future answer to why this? I don't know. Just finish my question.
He is part of the future.
Okay. How are we going to win the title next season?
By switching jerseys with the Warriors.
Okay. I would have also accepted coming up with another title besides the NBA title and winning that instead.
Mm-hmm. Valid strategy.
Yes. I think valid strategy. Okay. Okay, I'm going to name some I'm going to name some basketball players, and you tell me what we should do with them.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, we're going to fire. We're going to go like fast here.
Rapid fire.
Jarrett Jack.
We're going to wish him luck in the free agency market.
Okay. Sasha Vujovic.
Hey, he's still around? Why is he in this country?
Good answer. I don't know if he's still in this country. J.R. Smith. I don't know why I'm just naming.
I want the state of New York to have a restraining order on J.R. Smith.
Enes Kanter.
But by the way, J.R. Smith now cares about defense. What a dick.
I know. Do you think Enes Kanter should be forced? There are a lot of big problems in this world. Do you think Enes Kanter should be forced to go to war with Turkey and take down their leader instead of playing for the Knicks next year?
Sure.
Okay. Why should we hire you, Jay?
Well, first of all, I completely nailed this interview.
Yeah, he did better than most of our other candidates. Marc Jackson tried to convert me.
Did he,
I don't know.
Did he throw holy water on you?
Yeah, but my leg actually feels a little bit better now. I had a sprained ankle, and it really does feel better after the holy water.
Maybe so onto something.
Yeah, so that actually worked out pretty well. Mike Woodson and I just like high-fived, and he told me about the 2012-13 season, and it was pretty cool, actually. It was better than I expected, actually.
All right, memories.
Yeah, it was going down memory lane. It was pretty good. Yeah. So why? Anything else you want to add that to make your case for the job?
Look, a lot of first-time coaches have been working out. You got Brad Stevens. You got the guy in Utah whose name I just forgot. But they've been working out, so I think it's time for some new blood.
Okay. Last question. I know you want this job. Will you take off your clothes?
Will that help me get the job?
No.
No, I'm going to pass that.
Okay. Thank you, Jay. That was 5 minutes of interview with Jay.
All right.
Yes. As you can tell, there's nothing to talk about in Knicks world. Literally nothing. It couldn't be any less to talk about. What's going on, Jay? What do you have any updates for us in Knicks world?
No, I mean, the big news was second David Blatt interview and Juwan Howard. Let's answer a couple emails.
I saw an article about why the Knicks should go all in on Kawhi Leonard, because apparently he's good at basketball, and that's why they should.
Oh, good.
I don't know why. The Knicks are not going to get Kawhi Leonard, right?
Right. There's no way.
There's zero chance they're not getting him. And trading KP is probably a bad idea for a guy that San Antonio does not want anymore, or does not a guy that the guy that's going to not working out in San Antonio for whatever reason. It's probably not going to work out in New York, basically.
Right.
So, are we going to see how many articles are we going to see between now and when Kawhi Leonard is finally traded about the Knicks going after Kawhi Leonard? There's probably be 3,000 articles about how the Knicks need to go all in on this.
There's going to be at least as many as episodes that we have.
Yeah, it's always going to be those things that you have the beat writers going the Knicks shouldn't chase big names, but here's 30 articles from me about why the Knicks should get Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah, we're going to be really sick of that very soon.
And the article's all did you know Kawhi Leonard's a really, really good basketball player? He's top 5 in the league. It doesn't mention any part about the whole injury or why it's not working out in San Antonio. Just that he's really good. The Knicks should get him.
And he might be insane.
He might be insane. Greg Popovich cannot coach this player, but the Knicks should get him. Because, you know what? Here it'll totally work out.
I mean, if there's anything the Knicks do well, it's develop players.
Yeah. It's basically we're taking the guy who couldn't be in any more perfect a situation, best coach probably in all of the NBA, and we're going to take him.
History.
Yes, and we're going to put him in the mental asylum that is the New York Knicks and have that work out.
I'm sure it'll work out great.
Yeah. Email questions? Oh, and there was the rumor is that Marc Jackson's interview did not go so well.
That's reassuring.
Yeah, I thought you'd like that. Okay, go.
Jorge writes, Donovan Mitchell, how does it feel knowing we passed up on a rookie who destroyed the Thunder? Do you think he could have brought the Knicks to the playoffs without KP?
It feels horrible, the fact that he won. How bad do you feel about the fact that there was even again, giving credit to Tommy D, he was one of the few people in the Knicks world that was advocating the Knicks taking Donovan Mitchell. How much better would it be if we had Donovan Mitchell?
So much better. I mean he's not great on defense, but he's not like Isaiah Thomas bad, and he's ridiculous on offense.
Yeah, and you know he could probably get better in both categories.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
His rookie year, he got his team to the second round of the playoffs. It's insane. He got past Westbrook. Not like the Oklahoma's the greatest thing ever, but he beat one of the players we consider they built basically. They took Westbrook, added Paul George and Carmelo. What do you say about Carmelo? And Donovan Mitchell beat them. I mean, that's pretty darn good.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, I understand he has other players on his team, but that's pretty darn good.
It's really crazy how bad the Thunder. Their whole season was just so terrible.
Well, let's get back to that. Let's answer the question. You wanted to talk about the playoffs? I would like to talk about the coming matchups and talk about the teams that are left over now, the teams that lost in the first round, where they go from here.
I figured we're probably going to get a question about each series, so I figured we could just touch upon it once we get a question about it.
I don't think we got any questions about any series. No, I mean I'm not joking. I don't think any of the Facebook questions are about others. I don't think we get too many questions about the series.
We definitely got one about the Pacers series, but anyway. Okay, so thank you, Jorge. And he actually sent another one. Would you guys offer Jabari Parker a contract?
Yes. And you'd have to pay something decent to get him. I'd give a decent contract to get him. I don't know how much would you think it would take to get him? $12 million a year?
Yeah, I probably wouldn't want to pay more than 10 for him, but
If I can get him on,
I wouldn't be miserable at 12. But I
if
probably wouldn't
Kent,
go any higher than that.
if Cantor opts out and we have the money, he'd be very worthwhile to take a flyer. Not I don't even flyer on. Give a decent contract to. Like he has a lot of potential. He'd be a great guy to get on the team.
Yeah, he's
If
still
he,
young.
Yeah, if he puts the injuries behind him, he was a top 5 pick.
Yeah.
And he's got a lot of talent. The question really is how much the injuries are going to slow him down.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah,
let's
it's
do
a
it.
risk.
Let's debate the current. Let's debate the 4 series that are happening, and then we can talk about what's all the teams that have lost up to this point.
Okay.
Where they go from here. So we're gonna do. You want to do the same format where I'll take the underdog, you take the favorites.
Sure.
2 minutes on each clock.
Yep.
Okay. Give me the first series.
That would be Houston versus the Jazz.
Yeah. Ready, set. This is a pretty easy one. Jazz in 5 because I know they lost the first one.
Right. Why?
Well, Donovan Mitchell. I mean, Mitchell is like we just said. He's goddamn awesome. He will easily. I mean, if he took down Westbrook, Melo, and Paul George, he can take down Harden and Chris Paul. Not a question. They got a fantastic rim protector in Gobert. They play team basketball. I love it. I love everything they're doing. And they were so confident they gave away the first game to Houston. They just were like they're like Houston, you need this because we're gonna kick your ass the next 4 games. Jay, you want to rebuttal, Jay?
Sure. Houston's offense is pretty much unstoppable right now.
Yeah. So they're unstoppable right now until game time. Go on.
They're setting records for 3-pointers almost every game.
Yeah, 3-point shots. I mean, I know there was a great NBA coach that said 3-point shooting is fluky and doesn't really matter. And that guy like won 9 titles. He has a ring for almost every finger. And he coached Michael Jordan. He knows what he's talking about.
They're also you're expecting Donovan Mitchell, who is a rookie, to guard Chris Paul or James Harden
at the same time. He is that good. I mean, and James Harden and Chris Paul, there's only one basketball. Like, at some point, them figuring this out will stop happening, and they'll unfigure it all out.
That's an interesting theory.
Yeah, exactly. So Houston is bound to get upset. I mean, they're a young team. They're not playoff tested, except for being here last year in the playoffs. Versus like Utah, I mean, they're Mormons. They work harder than the rest of us.
I mean,
I'm assuming everyone on the team is Mormon, right?
Yeah, it's a rule. Yeah, Houston has a more experienced coach. They have more experienced players.
He coached in. Hang on, no. D'Antoni coached in New York. I know he sucks. Go on. Do you have anything, or you're going to admit defeat in this? What's your prediction for the series?
I'm going to say Houston in 6.
Okay, so you like being wrong. Go on, next series.
You didn't do a prediction? Oh, you said 5.
Yeah, 5. Yeah, pay attention. Come on, pay attention. If you were paying attention, you know Houston's going to lose.
Then we have Warriors versus the Pelicans.
Oh, this is an easy one. Okay, so I'm going to have to say I think it's going to be a little bit tougher series than the other ones. I'm going to say Pelicans in 6.
Pelicans in 6. Okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, I know they already lost. Pelicans are again very confident. They gave the game away for the Golden State for the first game because they figured Golden State needed. I mean, Golden State's without Steph Curry. I mean, obviously they need a little help.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, how are you going to? First of all, usually the team with the best player on the court wins. And who's the best player on the court for both teams?
Kevin Durant.
Yeah, exactly. Anthony Davis. You pronounce his name wrong.
Mm. It is Kevin Durant, though.
Yeah, exactly. Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is the best player on both teams. He is amazing on defense, amazing on offense. He's taking over the league. He's finally healthy. Pretty much there's no shot. And who is the best point guard on both these teams? Steph Curry's not even playing. They got Drew Holiday. No shot against Drew Holiday's much better. This team matches up. It's not even close. It's unfair how much better New Orleans is than the Golden State.
Steph Curry will be playing by game 3.
You think so? I think Steph Curry might just sit this one out. He's so overconfident. And we got Rajon Rondo also. We got 2 best point guards in this right now. The 2 best active point guards. Who's your point guard right now? You don't even know. You don't even know who's playing your point guard. Is Livingston playing your starting point guard? Who's your point guard?
No, Livingston is not starting at point guard.
Who's starting your point guard?
Cook.
What's his first name?
Quinn.
Okay. Is he really? I don't think he's starting at point guard.
It wasn't Livingston.
Okay. According to this box score, I'm looking. Iguodala started at point guard, which makes no sense.
Well, maybe he did.
Okay. Well, again, if you have Iguodala starting at point guard, you're going to lose. So, so you're not doing too well. And Kevin Durant's foot was bothering him at some point in the last couple of years. It'll bother him again this series.
Look, the Warriors have JaVale McGee. JaVale McGee has never lost the finals.
Well, good thing this is not the finals.
Not yet.
And you have David West. You have guys basically playing for free. Obviously, if guys have to volunteer their services, your team can't be that good. Plus, like New Orleans has we got Solomon Hill. It's hard to.
Say
yeah,
no more.
Exactly.
The legend that is Solomon Hill.
We got Mirotic, who his jaw can take a punch. Antoine Moore, like this is a hell of a team. So okay, so what's your prediction? I'm going to say New Orleans in 6.
I'm going to say Warriors in 5.
Okay, well I guess someone likes to be wrong. I can see why you're not doing well on the CPA. You keep getting questions wrong. What's your next series? What's the next series you want to do?
Next series is Raptors Cavs.
Okay, Raptors Cavs. This is a pretty easy one. I'm going to say Cavs in 4. They have LeBron. LeBron's amazing. Toronto is amazingly bad at the playoffs. There you go. I think Toronto's the favorite, Jay, because they have the best record.
I know. That's now I have to defend the Raptors.
The Raptors, who have made it to the second round for the first time since time started. Like the history of the world is the first time they made it to the second round of the playoffs, I believe. Do you remember when's the last time the Raptors have been to the second round?
Last year.
Were they in the second round last year?
Weren't they in the conference final last year?
Oh, that could have been true.
So they have a much, much better backcourt.
Yeah. Do they? Okay, so I have a couple questions for you.
Okay.
Do the Raptors have LeBron James?
They don't. I think I see where this line of questioning is going.
Okay. Do the Raptors have King James?
They don't.
Do the Raptors have anyone with the last name James?
No, they don't.
Okay, well, 3 things are against you. That's a hard thing. Those 3 things are very hard to overcome in a series.
They are. I think you won this one.
Yeah, I think I did win this game. I'm also going to see what. Hang on, I'm going to take a quick look at the. Hang on, I'm going to look at the. Where do I find on Basketball Reference how the last couple of years where they actually ended up in the playoffs? I was hoping to be able to figure this out.
You have to go like year by year, I think.
I think there's a thing where you can see. Here we go. Get the records, but the. They made the Eastern Conference Finals last couple of years. Last 2 years, Eastern Conference semis and Eastern Conference Finals, and they lost in 2 first rounds a couple of years ago. It's the goddamn Raptors. They're named after Jurassic Park. They're not going anywhere, Jay. Besides, we have Jose Calderon. How are you going to beat that? We have NBA legit veterans.
All right.
We got more Knicks. There are more Knicks in this roster.
76ers, Celtics.
Okay, this is a very, very easy one. Embiid plus Simmons means I'm going to say 6. 6 games to Philly.
Mm.
Actually, 7. I'm going to say 7 games. I'm going to say this goes the distance. Philly wins 7 games, and that's probably the actual outcome of the series.
Probably. I'm going to have to go, I guess, Celtics in 6.
Celtics in 6.
Yeah.
Okay. Explain to me why the Celtics, who have everyone, their 2 best players are injured.
Right, but they have Al Horford.
Yeah, Al Horford's a very, very good player. Embiid is better.
He is, but they have Terry Rozier.
Ben Simmons is better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is true. But they have. I was going to say Smart, but he's injured too.
The guy in Philly is better.
They have Jason Tatum.
There's no way they're winning the series. I don't care. They're up right now by 10 points in the third quarter. They're not winning the series.
I know.
You know, it's the year. It's the process, Jay. It's happening. Philly's going to the finals. It's just happening.
Yeah, I don't see them. Oh,
it's going to be
Smart is back. Never mind.
The process parade is happening, and at some point during this, like Game 7, Celtics will be up by like 30 points at halftime, and you know what's going to happen?
Mm.
Markel Fultz is going to say, "It's my time now." He's going to score 40 points in the fourth quarter and win the game. That's why I'm a number 1 pick. I changed my shot and brought back my old shot for this series. That's exactly what he's going to say. I've been to the future, and the future's not that interesting. Yeah. So my real prediction. What's your real? So my real prediction would say I think Toronto is going to beat Cleveland, and it's going to be Toronto Philly. I think that I think that's going to happen.
That'll be pretty exciting.
Yeah, I think Cleveland looks horrible. I mean, I know they won. They beat the Pacers. And LeBron is still very good, obviously, and the refs kind of help him a little bit, but he can't win this series. He can't beat Toronto on his own.
It was the usual LeBron elimination game, though. It was everyone all of a sudden's in foul trouble. It's such garbage.
The fouls in the NBA make it very hard to watch. Like this, the start. No other sport has it this horrible with the referees. Football, you have like the refs screwing things up, but you don't see star calls in the NFL. You don't see star calls in Major League Baseball. It's the only league where the refs are like, the league has no issue that they have star calls, and like it's like the NBA wants to be professional wrestling.
I mean, 2 guys on the Pacers fouled out, and Bogdanovich had 5. You're not going to win a game like that.
Yeah, and that's obviously that decides the series, and maybe those fouls really all happened, or maybe you're just calling those fouls because you want Cleveland to go to the finals.
Yeah, there was bad calls both ways, but there was way more bad calls that favored the Cavs.
I don't know. It's just the refs are so annoying. I wish the refs would just, like, especially in the playoffs, just take a step back and just say, I'm going to eat my whistle for most of the series.
Right.
Unless something's really bad, let's just... Are you the NBA that afraid of 90s basketball? You know, like the height one, I guess it's more popular now, but like the 90s basketball seemed like it was pretty popular then. I don't think like just the fact that they played a little harder, more like you allowed more to happen, like would destroy the NBA.
Yeah.
Do you think going back to more 90s basketball would destroy the NBA?
I think people would probably like it even more.
I mean, I guess the theory was scoring was down, and people want more scoring, and they don't want people being fouled on every play. But just allow more, just don't call every goddamn foul.
You know what's not fun to watch? Free throws.
Yeah, I wish the NBA could find a way to do away with free throws. Just do something about this.
You'd stop calling as many fouls.
Wouldn't the basketball would be so much more fun if there was you took half the free throws away from a game?
Yeah, well, you could if you got rid of all the garbage calls.
Or you know what you should do? Just shoot all the free throws at halftime, and then second half don't call any fouls. There's go. You'd be such a better sport. Or you know what we do? Here's another one. Don't shoot any free throws till halftime and then the end of the game. And then you could just win the game during the free throws, but at least you get to see just at court nonstop action during the actual game.
I mean, I don't like that either, but just stop calling all these garbage ticky-tack fouls. That's it.
I think what you really should do is if a guy goes hunting for a foul, you should call a foul on him for hunting for a foul.
Yeah.
That would eliminate most of what Houston does, and like if guys couldn't look for a foul anymore, then the league would get better immediately.
Right.
Okay, so what do you think is going to happen in the West? So I'm predicting that I'll take my real prediction being Toronto beats Philly in the Eastern Conference Finals, and Toronto goes to the finals. Really? Well, I think they're going to beat Cleveland, and then if they play Philly, I don't see Philly beating Toronto. So I'm going to say Toronto. And I don't know how bold I'm being. Toronto had the best record, but I think I'm going to call Toronto goes to the finals because I think Cleveland's going to lose. I think outside of LeBron, their roster is such a goddamn mess. I cannot see them. I think it'll be like a 7-game series and Toronto will win, or maybe 6 games. Like I think it's hard to beat LeBron in a game 7, but I think I don't think LeBron's gonna be able to overcome his roster.
I haven't been impressed with Toronto so far. I'm going with Philly.
I am also talking about a team that barely beat Washington. I just can't see it being Philly, but I also for like Cleveland. Kevin Love, by the way, didn't he used to be an All-Star?
He gets hurt every other play now.
The thing is, if Kevin Love was an All-Star, they go to the finals.
Yeah.
The West. What do you think's gonna happen in the West? We're definitely going to Golden State versus Houston, right?
Absolutely.
Like that's like a given right at this point, right? So who wins that series?
I think Golden State.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it goes 7 games though.
Yeah, that's going to be a battle. That's definitely going to be a battle.
And if Golden State goes to the finals, they'll win the finals. But I think
it's going to be a very short finals.
Would you rather see Houston or Golden State go to the finals?
Golden State.
See, I'd rather see Houston. I still want just a different team going.
I know you want somebody different, but I don't want to encourage all that jumping into a player to create a foul bullcrap.
No, that's a good point. Okay, so the teams that lost. Let's just talk a little bit about the teams that lost, where they're going. So OKC, I don't know if you'd say they went all in, but they kind of went all in on this season. Like they thought they'd have like a very good team.
Yeah.
Paul George could very well walk. Melo, unfortunately, will not walk. OKC
are take a $28 million player option.
Yeah, so as far as OKC, are they on the rise? Or are they the fall? Like what?
No, they're hard on a fall. They're capped out.
Yeah.
And they have a really almost done Melo who said he would not accept a bench role.
So this is a very bad year for OKC.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bad year.
It wasn't really a good look for Westbrook either.
No, not a good look for the... You know what you got to do? You have to find guys that really will play, like, that will complement Westbrook. Figure out what works with him and find guys that work better with it. You can't just say, like... in theory, a guy like Melo would be a good guy to play with Westbrook. In the theory... Well, he doesn't play defense, but the idea of having shooters around him, and Melo, in theory, was still a good shooter.
Zach Lowe wrote a huge piece on it today about how he would be really much better off with a passing big man like Marc Gasol or Anthony Davis.
Well, the first one, Gasol, might be gettable, but the second one, Anthony Davis, ain't happening.
Right.
Okay, the second team from the West who lost, Trailblazers. Good year, bad year? What's going on with them?
Good regular season, catastrophic playoffs.
Yeah, catastrophic. Getting your ass just handed to you by New Orleans. It's not like New Orleans is Golden State. And New Orleans is good, but you've had a bad year.
Yeah, they got trounced.
I don't know where you're going from there.
I was wondering how they got into the 3rd seed to begin with.
They had a very, very good regular season. They were playing good defense towards the end. The second half, I think they were one of the better defensive teams in the league, at least statistically. And they have a great backcourt, but they had a garbage playoffs. Do you think they get better, or or this is like they're on the down?
I think they peaked too.
Yeah, I can't disagree. Who else we got in the West? Who am I forgetting about?
Minnesota,
bad, good. I feel like this is. I wouldn't call it bad. I'd say this season is at worst. They're basically. I feel like it's a good regular season. And the fact they lost in the first round, for this team, I would say it's still a good year.
Yeah, I mean, nobody expected them to beat Houston. They won a game.
Yeah.
So
And you didn't have
it's
Butler
all right.
back till like right before the playoffs. So
Yeah.
if you had Butler the whole year, then if Butler was healthy the whole year, it might be I don't think still think they're big Houston, but I'd say they're on the rise.
Yeah,
They
I think
still
that's fair to say.
they still have to figure out how to use Towns better. Figure out how to get Wiggins to play any defense whatsoever.
Yep. That's the key right there.
Yeah, I think they're on the rise. Who's the last team in the West I'm missing?
Spurs.
Spurs declined, right? Bad year?
Decline. Parker's just about done. Ginobili's just about done. Aldridge is definitely going to be on the decline. He had a really good year this year, but
He had a really good year.
He's getting up there in age, so you can't expect him to repeat that.
And your best player doesn't return your phone calls, so you have to trade him.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is they're probably still a playoff team next year because Popovich is the amazing coach, but they are definitely in the decline.
Yeah, they're like first round out status
Oh.
for unless they shake things up.
I don't know how they get they need to find another way to get like a star player because they're not going. Aldridge is not leading them to like anywhere within
Right.
the West. In the East, who do we have? Pacers. I feel like the Pacers of all the teams that lost, they're the most on the rise, and they had the best season of any team that lost.
Absolutely agree.
Yeah, I feel like the East is going to be wide open, depending on what LeBron does. If LeBron goes to Philly, then obviously the East is not wide open. But assuming LeBron doesn't go to another contender in the East is wide open going forward, and the Pacers have as good a shot as anyone going forward.
Yeah, they got a nice young core. Oladipo looks absolutely incredible.
Yeah, you just get the team a little more mature, add a couple players to this team. They have a good shot next year. There's no reason you put them against Toronto in the first round. There's no reason they couldn't have beaten Toronto.
Yeah.
So they had a great.
Honestly, they were like one or two calls or shots away from eliminating the Cavs. It was so close.
Yeah, I would say that the Pacers, looking next year, if you're looking at the teams that have the best shot, again, not knowing what LeBron actually does, but they're definitely in it with everyone else. No one's far ahead of them.
Right.
Who else? Who else in the East? Washington.
I feel like Washington peaked too. I know they had Wall out for a long time, but they have a horrible, horrible bench.
They don't have cap space. I don't really know how they get better from here.
They have no bench. They have no cap space. It seems like their players are bickering at each other half the time.
Yeah. Gortat doesn't give a crap who he defends on his team, right?
No, not at all.
I don't even understand that. So yeah, they're in the decline. Who are the other two? Who's left?
Miami?
Miami never really peaked. They just don't. You can't really say they peaked. I mean, this is the first year they made the playoffs with this team.
Yeah, they're sort of in that weird middle ground. I mean, Wade and Dragic are getting old, but then you got a bunch of young pieces.
Wade's getting old. Wade's I can't believe how well he played for being this old.
Yeah.
I don't see where they're it's a young team, but I don't see where they're going with his team.
Yeah, they don't have any outstanding players to build around.
It's like they have a solid if you added two very good players, if LeBron went there, they'd be a very, very good team. But without adding a star player to that team, I don't really know where you go with them. Who's the last one? Milwaukee. They should be getting better.
Yeah, I feel like we've been going back and forth about this all season. I don't think they have a great core.
I mean, Giannis, it should be a guy that is, if not, he's not maybe there yet. He's definitely a top 10 player in the NBA, and he should be able to approach top 5.
Mm-hmm.
Would be fair to say?
Yeah.
You should be able to build around that. Bledsoe is not a bad addition. Parker, if you resign it, you need obviously to figure out how to add more to this team. But with a better bench, this team would be pretty. They'd enter the conversation for the East with how wide open the East could be. If LeBron goes to the West, the East is unbelievably wide open.
Except for Philly.
What do you mean, except for Philly? It's not like Philly's so much better than anyone.
Yeah, they are.
Really, they're losing the Celtics right now.
Well, that one game sample size. So,
Yeah, it means everything. You lose if you're down in the third quarter. At the end of the third quarter in Game 1, you might as well just light a match, throw some gasoline, burn the thing right now. They should trade. They should offer Embiid to the Knicks for their Knicks first round pick. Maybe throw in Simmons. Just get the Knicks draft pick and see what you can rebuild from there. The Knicks will just make do with Embiid and Simmons. You think Philly is head and shoulders above everyone else? Philly needs to add more also.
Not much.
Do you think if the Philly gets to the Eastern Conference Finals, do you think it strengthens or makes it worse? Is LeBron more likely to go there or less likely?
I have no idea what's going on in the guy's head anymore.
And then the further question, if to get LeBron, you have to get rid of some role players in Philly. Obviously, you cannot bring back Redick. You cannot bring back. You might have to move Covington. Is that worth it to bring LeBron in? Forgetting the fact that you don't like LeBron, you get LeBron in that team, they are favorites to go to the finals.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you sacrifice having some of these role players. You might sacrifice something in the long term by trying to win a title in the short term.
Right. Do you say we might win next year, but then we killed 5 years down the road because of it?
I don't know if you kill 5 years down the road though either, but
not 5 straight years. I mean, 5 years down the road, we traded away some young guys, and now we have to rebuild again.
Yeah. Let's just say somehow it'll cut short what you could, the potential. Let's say the potentially you could probably get a team that's going to be dominating for a longer period of time, but you cut short that by trading some pieces away to get a title in the short term.
I mean, I guess you always go for the title.
And then the other thing is that how great is the process if you need to bring LeBron here?
Also,
In the sense of would you rather just win it with just say the East is going to be open anyway and we don't need LeBron here, or if LeBron wants to talk to you, you just say screw it, we'll go for the we'll bring the hired gun in here and get to the title.
Well, also we say it every year, but at some point LeBron's going to stop playing like this.
Yeah. When the Knicks sign him in 3 years. Obviously at some point LeBron is not going to be as good. It has to happen at some point. At the same time, at some point, Tom Brady is not going to be the best quarterback in the NFL. It just hasn't happened yet. If you're Philly, let's say you're a big Philly fan, would you want LeBron here next year? If it costs you some pieces. Let's say you have to get rid of Robert Covington. I don't know. I don't have the money in front of me, but let's say you have to get rid of Redick, Covington,
and Sarek,
Bellinelli, and Sarek. Let's just say you get rid of all 4 of those guys, and you're not guaranteed to go to the finals. Obviously, you give those 4 guys up to bring LeBron in.
No.
Why not?
I think it means so much more if you can draft all those guys and build the team and win, as opposed to getting so close and then semi-blowing it up to get LeBron in there.
See, as a Knicks fan, a long-suffering Knicks fan, I kind of feel like I'm in the desert, crawling on my hands and knees, or just barely alive trying to get water. I don't care where that water's from. If I need LeBron James to get that water, it's worth it. It's not worth it to me to walk an extra distance to get water, to make sure I did it myself. If I can get help, that's fine. I just need a goddamn title.
See, I want to beat LeBron. I don't want to have to have him join to win.
I don't care. I just want a title. I understand the mentality of LeBron's he's not from Philly. He's not a Philly player. He's just a hired gun going in here to get us a title. So what? I just want to be able to go to parade, say this is the year that it worked out. I'll have him here the whole year. We'll celebrate. It'll be awesome. And plus, we win a title. Hopefully, LeBron's work ethic. Obviously, he's doing some things that are right, even though he might be a difficult guy to play with. Maybe my guys maybe Embiid, Simmons learn from LeBron, and when LeBron leaves, they're better players having played with LeBron.
It's a valid argument.
I mean, Simmons and Embiid have the mentality. It seems like they want to be the best, play with the best, and then they're gonna really see what it takes to be the best. Oh, you like this better now?
I still wouldn't do it, but I get your point.
Okay, what if the Knicks? LeBron says he wants to go to the Knicks next year.
No.
You wouldn't take him?
No.
Let's say the Knicks. Hang on, we have to give up Jarrett Jack to get him. Let's just say Cancer opts out. LeBron somehow works out with the money. He's gonna play here, but he says I'm gonna keep playing with the Knicks until we get to the finals, till we win it.
I don't like him. I don't want him on the team.
All right, so at the same time, is this? I feel like it's to be the same thing as do you give Kevin should Golden State be mad they got Kevin Durant?
No.
But it's the same thing basically. You're taking a great player, adding him to your team that didn't. I mean,
I would understand if people in Golden State did not want him, but they didn't blow up the team either.
They had to blow it. They had to get rid of Harris. I mean, not blow up the team, but they had to get rid of some key players.
They got rid of
Kevin
one
Durant.
guy.
They got rid of Harris. Or they got rid of some other guys also. I forget exactly who else they cut. They cut a couple players, role players.
Very minor.
I mean, compared to what you get, where do you think? So, where do you think LeBron goes if he loses the series? He loses to Toronto, and he's just I'm fed up. And I understand from his standpoint, he's I want to win basketball games. It's just almost unfair that I should be locked in on a team where everyone else is just bad. I want to play with other players that will put me in a position so I can win. You're the best at what you do, or one of the best at what you do. You want to play with other people that are going to be as good as you, or on your level. You don't want to have to be forced to drag a sorry franchise with you.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's partially his fault too, though.
I mean, he got them a title. They should be saying whatever fault it is, whatever state I leave you in, you have a title that you would never have had if not for me.
Right, but I mean, he's complaining, but then he keeps signing these one-year deals where they can't make long-term moves.
Well, he might say if I sign a long-term deal, I sign a long-term deal, then the team doesn't do what I want them to do, and in my mind, they'll make the team worse somehow. I want the team to be on edge every year, knowing they have to get better, or else I'm not going to stay. As opposed to Kevin Durant was upset he didn't like what they were doing in Oklahoma, and he wasn't signing, but he couldn't leave until his contract ended.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of players are stuck in situations where they've signed a longer term deal, and now the team is not building the way they want around them. LeBron says, "I want to be GM. I want a shot." And maybe he's not being a good job of being GM, but he's I want the team to know. If Kevin Durant was on 1-year deals and Oklahoma knew they had to keep the team, get the team better each year, maybe they keep Harden. Maybe they don't trade Harden because they're well, we need to keep Kevin Durant happy.
Yeah, it's possible.
I'm just saying I get from LeBron's standpoint of signing at 1-year deals and wanting more control. But where does he go? What team if he goes in the East, if he doesn't go to Philly, where does he go? Indiana?
No. He'll never play with Lance.
Oh, yeah. I don't know what are the other situations like. I can't see him going to the Celtics.
I can't really see him going to any other East Coast teams.
But it makes sense that you'd go to the East because you don't want to go to the West and play with. You don't want to. You'd rather meet whatever West Coast team plays you in the finals.
Yeah.
There's not a perfect situation in the West anyway. He's not going to go to Houston. He's not going to go to. He's not going to. What else? What would be a good setup? He's not going to go to San Antonio because Popovich would never want to coach him.
I feel like the Clippers are definitely out now after they blew up their team.
Yeah, but he needs a team that in the West is going to be really good if you want to really compete with Golden State.
Yeah.
He's not going to go to OKC and compete with Westbrook.
And he's not the type of guy that's going to play in Utah.
Yeah, Utah would be an interesting situation.
It would. It would make sense basketball-wise, but he wants more than that.
And Lakers, I don't think would make any sense.
I keep hearing those rumors, though.
I know, but the roster doesn't make that much sense.
No, it doesn't.
That's my big thing is I think LeBron wants to go to the finals, and you add him and Ball. What do you got there? Kyle Kuzma, you're really going to the finals against Golden State?
Right.
I I think yes. I think he's just gonna like look in the mirror and be like, I have to stay in the East to get to the finals because it's not worth it to me if I don't go to the finals.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do the Facebook questions and wrap this up, Jay.
Alan writes, "Hey guys, long time without sending in a question. You asked on Facebook page why Knicks are interviewing all these people. In normal, sensible front office, they bring in an assistant coach who they don't want to hire to gather intel on his team, ask him questions about the organization. Do you have a problem with that, and why?" That's an interesting idea.
That would be I'm sorry, I didn't think the Knicks would do anything that smart.
That sounds way too smart for the Knicks.
That sounds way too smart. That sounds like a great plan.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that's what the Knicks are doing.
2, are you happy that the Knicks are not appointing Marc Jackson?
Yeah.
Very.
Ecstatic.
Very.
Yeah.
3, is Frank Isola stirring up trouble by saying the Knicks should trade for Kawhi and should include KP?
Yeah. I mean,
if we say that, is he going to yell at us through DM again?
Of course, he's gonna like on Twitter. I think we talked. If you listened, he yelled at me because I criticized something he said. He's like I'm making real criticism of the team. I'm just making honest criticism of the team, and I don't like how they just chase after stars. And then I'm gonna write an article about how they should chase after stars. And an injured star, no less. I understand Kawhi Leonard is a very, very good player, and he's done a lot in the NBA. Like a healthy Kawhi Leonard with no issue with the Spurs wouldn't trade him, but he would be a very. It just makes no sense to go for a guy that big of a head case. Does he address any of that? The fact that like Kawhi's a giant head case?
Does who address that? What are you talking about?
Why can I can't believe my brain. I think I must have Alzheimer's. I cannot even remember. Isola. Isola's name escaped my mind. We just said him, and I couldn't remember his name. Do you think, Jay? Like, is anyone in the audience like a doctor? Can you diagnose my brain issues on the show?
Mark Brain, no work good.
No work good. Yeah. Did you read what Isola wrote? Did he just like did it in a tweet, or what did he say?
I didn't see it.
Okay. I feel like he always likes to stir up trouble, like, and then be like, "Oh, I'm just saying, why can't the Knicks be good?" And like, he always just says something and then tells them to do the exact opposite.
And 4, did the Knicks win the Carmelo Anthony trade? And it's interesting how the media is saying what loads of Knicks fans have been saying the last couple of years about Melo.
What do you think?
I think it's a wash. I'm glad the Knicks got out of the contract when they did because they never would have been able to make the trade this offseason.
Oh, my God. Could you imagine they kept him this last year, trying to trade him?
And then we would just know that we're paying that $28 million.
Yeah, there'd be like 0.000 chance. Okay, do you want to hear what Isola said? He said the summer of Kawhi has a head start on the summer of LeBron. Kawhi Leonard is expected to meet up with the Spurs in the not-so-distant future. Assuming that he is medically cleared by his team doctors, the Knicks should be paying close attention. So far, just way to knock it out of the park, Isola. The Knicks should be paying attention to a star player who's unhappy in his situation. The most bizarre and unreported story of the NBA season involved Leonard, who 4 years ago outplayed LeBron James in the NBA Finals and was named Most Valuable Player of the series. The Spurs had their heir apparent Tim Duncan, or at least they thought they did. How is this the unreported story of the NBA season? I feel like there's been so much coverage of this. What does he mean unreported by himself? What the hell is he talking about? This year, Leonard played in 9 games and seemed to spend more quality time with his, quote, group rehabbing his quadricep injury in Manhattan than he did with his teammates in San Antonio. Although the Spurs doctors had cleared Leonard to resume playing, Leonard's group, including his own medical staff, advised him to continue rehabbing. So this should be part of the story where he's like, something's wrong. The Knicks should not touch this. Mm-hmm. Instead, he goes on to talk about, says, not really sure why anyone would think it would be in the best interest of the Spurs to give their franchise player, who turns 27 in June, bad medical advice. If you want to believe that, have at it. Okay. That's So now he's. What does that paragraph mean? What the hell is he talking about? He's saying the Spurs.
That's pretty much saying that the Spurs medical staff is bad because the Spurs medical staff said that he was healthy.
So he's talking about the guy the Knicks should or should not. Okay. Then he goes on. For years, the Spurs have been hailed as the gold standard of the NBA franchises. Isola has complained all the time on Twitter about the Knicks should be. Why can't the Knicks do it like the Spurs? But between trust issues, Leonard being detached from the team, and Tony Parker questioning the severity of his injury, this was the most un-Spurs-like thing we've ever witnessed. Yeah, this is what he wants the Knicks to touch. And there'll be more plot twists in the coming weeks and months. The Spurs have an option this summer to offer Leonard the Supermax, a 5-year contract worth $219 million. If he were traded to another team, he would receive substantially reduced salary, perhaps as much as $80 million over the length of what would be a 4-year deal. Financially, it makes sense for Leonard to want to remain with the Spurs. So a guy that doesn't want to play with the best, arguably one of the greatest coaches ever, and is willing to take $80 million less to not play with his team is the guy the Knicks should get?
Sure.
Do you want me to keep reading or no?
No.
Let me find this. Leonard has enjoyed time in New York and isn't adverse to playing a major market. That should also interest the Brooklyn Nets. There's nothing about the fact that, like, hey, is there a problem with Kawhi that would make it a terrible situation coming here?
Yeah.
Okay,
let's move on.
Screw you. Okay, fine. Screw you. You can't even get into the article with me, huh? You don't like the best of Isola? We could have every week we could read a new article by Isola about why the Knicks should get to Kawhi Leonard.
Until he threatens us through DM.
Yeah, and that's what you do. You threaten people like. Bobby writes, "How should we feel about?"
The funny thing is, we've asked him serious, legit questions multiple times, and he never responds.
He only responds if you call him out on something, and then he's like, "How dare you call me back?" And then he'll like just start insulting you.
Yeah, he told us we had a crappy podcast. I'm like, obviously never listened to the podcast.
There's zero chance. I mean, it's crappy, but there's zero chance you've listened. That's all. Bobby writes, "How should we feel about Cantor smoozing the Thunder? Did you hear about him in the OK Utah game on Thursday, rooting for OKC and dissing the Jizz? How about his YouTube video parodying Thunder fans who leave games early?"
I think he spelled jazz wrong.
No, it's Jizz. I hope that's a thing. First of all, I think Enes Cantor is the Knicks MVP of Twitter.
Yeah.
And YouTube, just social media. He's great on social media. I wish he was this guy. I wish he was that good on defense. How do you feel about him rooting for OKC? It's great. Why should he not root against? What's wrong with him rooting for his old team?
Yeah, that's fine.
I mean, it's not like he was rooting against the Knicks or it's not like he had anything off season for you to be doing for the Knicks. I have no issue with this at all. James writes, "Is Dave Blatt the leading candidate? There is an interesting thought. Article about Blatt versus LeBron said while LeBron, maybe LeBrat could be a thing too. LeBrat pouted that he had no input in hiring the coach and made life miserable for Blatt. Kyrie said he was very happy with Blatt. He will be an unrestricted free agent in 2019. Get a young player now, another in 2019. Blatt coach, Kyrie unrestricted free agent. Maybe Kyrie signs with the Knicks."
I have my worries about Kyrie, to tell you the truth.
I mean, in fairness, Blatt was hired to coach a different team. He was hired before LeBron was signed, and they thought he basically was signed to coach one of the worst teams in the NBA in rebuilding.
Yeah, I think Blatt's a good coach.
No. I'm just saying, Cleveland was pretty bad. They signed Blatt to rebuild the team, and then you went from a guy who's going to come in there and rebuild the team to LeBron comes there and suddenly they're a title contender. It was a different team for him to coach with a very strong personality. You didn't hire him to really coach LeBron.
Right.
So I feel like it was not the best situation for him either. I feel like the fact that it didn't work out is not necessarily I can't.
It did work out though. He made the finals.
They didn't win the NBA championship though, and then LeBron forced him out. So I guess it didn't work out kind of also.
It didn't work out for Blatt. It worked out for Cavs.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, how do you feel about Black coming here?
I'm totally fine with it.
Yeah, I'd be fine with it. Are you be excited?
No. I don't know who would get me really excited, though.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like no matter like whether it be a big name or a promising, that we've had so many things not work out here. Then
Yeah, I'm broken.
yeah, I'm not gonna feel, and you know what's gonna happen. Whoever they sign, the Knicks will start off next year like 15-12. We'll be like, this is the greatest coach ever. This is wonderful, and they'll win 16 games all season.
Yeah.
That's exactly what's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
Ja Jean writes, outside of the Knicks, is it me or the referring in the Cavs versus Pacers series? Sorry, the refereeing in the Cavs versus Pacers series seems a bit unfair for the Pacers, as the Cavs and LeBron seem to get away with a lot. Also, don't you think that NBA rules need to change, as FIBA basketball allow more contact and physical contest between players? I think the NBA will gain a lot if they would allow more contact instead of stopping the game all the time. What do you guys think? It's like Ja Jean wrote this question after we just had that conversation.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with all that. Every LeBron elimination game is wrought with those kind of calls, and the touch fouls just got to go. Not just for LeBron teams, for any game. I don't want game 5 of the season. I don't want to see touch fouls.
I feel like they should just. There's so many things I want to get rid of. I want to get rid of, if you're shooting a 3 and the guy barely touches you, it's not a foul. You just missed the shot.
Yeah,
like the guy.
I think it was Jeff Van Gundy said something like that, where if you're under the net, you could get mauled and not get a foul call, and then if a pinky touches you while you're taking a 3-point shot, it's a foul. Like
I said it
so
like 30.
inconsistent.
Jay, I said it like 30 times in the show, and you're giving Jeff Van Gundy credit for that.
Yep.
I said it like every week for the last like 52 weeks, and you give Jeff Van Gundy credit for that. Go screw yourself.
He's a smart guy.
Yeah, no, I think it's like, I am fine with the contact under the net. You probably should. I don't want more fouls there, but you gotta say like, and if the guy hits the 3, it wasn't a foul. The 4-point play, the guy really has to be hit, like knocked over for the guy to go to the line after making a 3.
Yeah.
So I would get rid of that. What else do you want? You're driving to the basket. If you purposely draw contact, like drive into the guy on purpose, no foul. If anything, a foul on you.
Yep. Couldn't agree more with that one.
I want to. There's so many plays I want to get rid of. Like those, like this drive me insane. Anything where you're like, you jump into a player, fouls on you. Anything where the guy's in the air and you purposely jump into him, fouls on you. It's totally your fault, not the player. Like, you're trying to draw a foul, it's on you. You get a foul called on you. God, the NBA. Declan writes, how well do you think KP would do in the playoffs? Would teams exploit his weaknesses like closing out on the perimeter, or do you think he would be good enough to carry a weaker squad?
I think he would be all right. I don't think he would carry a weaker squad, but I think he would be decent.
I think they'd exploit his weaknesses majorly. I think it'd be a huge issue. I don't think KP, he hasn't overcome guys like exploiting his weaknesses during the regular season. There's no reason, like when teams are really like game planning for him, that he's going to be able. He needs to develop more. He had lots of. We had a great start to the season. Then teams started game planning for him, and he had lots of problems.
Mm-hmm.
So I highly doubt he'd be like a good. He'd be a good playoff NBA playoff player. Why is it alliteration?
We need to end this show.
Okay, we're almost done. We got a couple more. Jajin writes, just listened to Frank in French radio about basketball hosted by a former player, which has said to Frank, and I quote, "When I watched you this year, you had me screamed at you so many times on TV. Why the hell don't you shoot the damn ball more?" Frank to answer, "I thought about it many times, but it was not in my interest due to the coaching/game plan."
Interesting.
Judging further writes, Frank on his confrontation with LeBron, "I wanted to put the ball back in the game. He did not move and stayed in my way. Regardless of who he is, I won't back down from anyone. Is the way it works for this league to get respected. refreshing from a kid. This is his future is sound. Hopefully for us, the Knicks will make the right decision and develop him.
Yeah, I mean, I love that attitude.
I have to say, probably the next coach is insanely important for developing Ntilikina.
Yeah.
I don't think Hornacek was necessarily the right coach to develop him.
Yeah, maybe not. Probably not. Probably not.
I mean, that quote just now was just saying it was the game plan, it was the coaching that that told me not to be as aggressive on offense.
Yeah, that's weird.
I feel like Hornacek did not do the best job of I don't know how he was trying to get him to be more aggressive, but there are a lot of things Hornacek would be like, I want the guys to play defense tonight. You're just not playing defense the whole season. I want Ntilikina to be more aggressive on offense, but he's not being more aggressive on offense. How much of it is either he's not saying it the right way to the players, or he's just not they're not listening to him?
Probably a little.
I want him fired again, Jay. Okay, 3 more questions from Gilliam, and we're done. Gilliam writes, I want to know what Jay and Marc are saying in the parallel universe where the Knicks hired Tibbs and playing the Rockets, and their best player is not shooting, and nobody's defending, and they get scored 50 points in a quarter in the playoffs. By the way, is it crazy that the Rockets scored 50 points in a quarter?
Not a good look for Tibbs.
Also, is it crazy that didn't happen against the Knicks?
Yeah.
Okay, cut to the alternative universe. Jay, I'm sorry the Knicks hired Tibbs. I can't believe they listened to me. I'm going to jump out the window now. Bye.
I mean, well, we knew he was going to play KP 48 minutes until his legs blew up, but to have nobody play defense too,
I don't understand. He coached defense all his life, and now he stopped doing it when he came to New York. Why, oh why is this happening? I cannot believe I rubbed that magic lamp I got from that evil store. Gilliam writes, Cornet versus Cantor. How much value is there playing Cantor when Cornet, while still mostly an unproven player, can do things like defending at the rim and three-point line that are more valuable than what Cantor is good at, post offense and rebounding, especially offensive rebounding, which may be the two things teams are doing less and less?
Yeah, I think we're of the same opinion that Cantor's not terribly important to what we want to do.
By the way, I think I meant three-point shooting, not three-point defending before, that Cornet can do. Yeah, I mean, Cornet's not that great, but is Cornet more valuable on the court than Cantor? That which is the basic question.
The fact that we even have to ask it's not good.
No, one guy is getting league minimum, one guy's getting $18 million a year. Obviously, the league has changed a little.
Yeah.
Not that Cornet's worth more than league minimum, but yeah, I mean, Cornet. If you look at it, Cornet was not hard. He could block some shots and play. He was more athletic than you would realize from looking at him.
Mm-hmm.
He played okay at the rim. He obviously can shoot threes. Who would you rather have on the team next year, Cantor or Cornet?
Is Cantor for 18?
Well, I mean that makes it easy, obviously.
Yeah.
Let's say you can have Cantor for 3 years, $36 million, or Cornet for basically league minimum for the next 3 years.
I would probably take Cantor. That's
Really?
that's my max for Cantor though.
I think Cornet. I don't see. I also feel if we bring back Cantor, he's a starting center, which I find a huge issue.
Mm-hmm.
I also don't think Cantor's the answer to anything. At least Cornet, you need to find another center when he's here.
Right.
He's not the answer. Oh, also, I guess to go to Gilliam's question, who would you rather have on the floor?
Mm.
Who would you rather give? Let's say it's 20 minutes a night. Who makes more sense? Does the guy that shoots a lot of threes and can make a lot of threes, Cornet? Let's just say he can shoot around 35 to 40% from 3-point land. 37% from 3-point land. Let's say he was doing that in Westchester. The league, the line is the same distance. You could assume he'll shoot at least 35% from 3 in the NBA.
Right.
Let's assume that, and assume he can play better defense at the rim than Cantor, which is not a high bar. Who do you rather have on the court?
You make a compelling argument.
Yeah, what does Cantor do that makes it so? I mean, obviously he can score very efficiently at the basket and get a lot of offensive rebounds, which are really nice. But when Cantor was the starting center of this team, without KP, they were god awful.
Yeah.
He was here. They didn't win any extra game. He didn't get them any extra wins. He would put up big numbers. He'd be like, I got 24 points tonight and 20 rebounds, and Knicks would still lose the game. So how important is what he was doing?
I'd say not very.
I mean, that's a pretty if you're doing everything you can and the team just still sucks, then maybe you're not part of the solution.
Are we still talking about him, or are we talking about Russell Westbrook?
Gillian writes, what do you think about using the mid-level exception to try to sign Jeremy Grant? With OKC cap situation, they may not be able to offer him much unless George is gone, maybe. Jeremy Grant, by the way, George, where do you think he's going?
Lakers.
Yeah, that actually I think might happen. With Jeremy Grant could be a useful complement to KP. He can play 5 on offense, but be the switch guy on defense, basically playing a small ball 5. But with KP, you get a post presence to go 1-on-1 and the rim protection.
That's not a bad idea.
No, I mean, I guess you're talking about a 1-year deal, so it's not like you're not making a long-term commitment to him. Not a horrible idea at all, actually.
Yeah.
I'd rather have him than Cantor.
Yeah.
Gilliam, when will you be interviewing for the New York Knicks head coaching job? Or GM job, actually. Forget the head coaching job. Jay, last question to you. And from 1 to 10, what is your how much faith do you have in Mills Perry?
2.
And from 1 to 10, how much faith did you have in second last did Phil Jackson when he got here?
6.
Okay. What did we learn today, Jay?
We have one Twitter question.
What'd you say?
We have one Twitter question. UD is the Ultimate Warrior wrote, will people, media especially, and fans admit Phil was right about Melo?
Was there a big argument that Phil wasn't right about Melo?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of Melo-sexuals that still think he's the greatest thing ever.
Yeah, I mean, I thought basically the things that he said about Melo weren't like wrong. Like the fact that like Melo holds the ball too long. I thought it was like we all agreed, but calling him out in Twitter was a dumb thing to do. Or calling him out in an article, I forget how he did it. Like the way he did it was the problem, not like the fact that like he was wrong about what he said.
Right. I still think some people don't admit that, but yeah, he was right.
Yeah.
Although he's the one who also gave him a no trade clause and gave him a second max deal. So
I mean, how right is he that like a year into his contract he was saying all these bad things? Like you gave him the contract, like
yeah. And second part, another year with reigning MVP and an All-Star, and Melo still loses in the first round. Whose fault isn't it this time?
I mean, Melo. Do you think like did he fall off? Like was last year's Melo would have been that much better on this team? Like how much has he fallen off? Like when did he fall off completely?
We knew it was coming very, very soon.
Like he fell off.
We saw it last year.
When he got that max contract, he had already kind of fallen off.
Yeah.
Was that year after? He got that after the Knicks won 17 games, right?
Yeah, I mean the last year he was with the Knicks, he was basically said, I don't have enough energy to try and both ends of the court. Even though he was never good on defense, he like just stopped trying.
I was thinking about during the OKC series. I'm like, wait a second, Melo, who's like adding nothing for the OKC, he was our go-to player all of last year. Oh my God, this team! Like,
I mean, he averaged 11 points a game.
Yeah, that's I cannot like Westbrook is just like. I cannot believe we're going to pay this guy $28 million to stay. I cannot believe we traded for this guy. I mean, we could also go just say Oklahoma lost last. Like, if in retrospect, they did a terrible job last summer.
Yeah.
If they never made any of those trades, they'd be in a much better position.
Oklahoma City, amazing at drafting, horrible at trades.
I mean, how much better would you be if you had you still
Durant
had
and Harden.
well, yes,
If he had the last 3 MVPs of the league.
yes. I was gonna say if you just still had Oladipo, you still had who's the other guy that Indiana got?
Sabonis.
Sabonis. You had
So that's
still
right.
those two.
Even when they win a trade, they undo it the next year and lose.
Oh yeah, because getting them in the first place, right?
Yeah, which could have been a win, but then that's the other thing. Maybe Westbrook's a problem if he couldn't make Oladipo work.
I mean, Westbrook clearly is like Kevin Durant was just like, I can't play with this guy anymore.
Yeah.
Clearly he's a like he's very, very good, but you need to figure out a team that really works around him. It's not going to be like bring in 2 other All-Stars and make it work around him. You need more. You need to tailor a team better to him, I guess.
Yeah.
What did we learn today, Jay?
We learned that there was literally 0 Knicks news, and we still went almost an hour and a half.
That being said, if the Knicks don't hire a coach in the next week, we may skip a week.
Yeah, I think it's about time.
We might be going to a little bit less frequent schedule, like barring Knicks things actually happening in Knicks world. We might be doing more of our Brink of Sanity podcast. Yes,
The Brink of Sanity is our comedy podcast. It is me and Mark, and we usually have a third guy named Bry, and we like to think it's funny.
It's where humor almost happens.
Yes. So you can type in The Brink of Sanity in iTunes or go to brinkofsanityshow.com. As for our contact information, NY Knicks Podcast on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Patreon. Patreon.com/NY Knicks Podcast.
And if you want Jay's home address, just pay him $12. He'll send you a T-shirt with his home address on it, and then you could just go to his house and just like do whatever you want to show up at his house.
That's on thenewyorknickspodcast.com where you can buy shirts. Down to I believe a dozen shirts. So get them all.
How many did you buy originally? Or you don't have to admit that. It's fine. And I don't want to embarrass you. Forget it.
No, it was like 50.
Oh, you sold 38 shirts in like 8 years? Are you sure you don't want to like just like go on Shark Tank with this? Sharks. I have a podcast. We made T-shirts. I've moved 38 of them. Oh, in the last 6 months? 8 years. Last 8 years, Shark.
38,000?
30 no units. 38 actual T-shirts. I make about what the T-shirt. I make about $1 over what the T-shirts cost. I'm probably doing the math wrong and shipping and losing money. Mark Cuban, do you want to invest? You know what? I could actually make a podcast for your Dallas Mavericks, Mark Cuban. I guarantee within 8 or 9 years, we'll have sold 38 T-shirts for you. Okay, goodbye.
On that note, yeah, thanks for listening. We will be back probably in 2 weeks. Goodbye, folks.
Bye, love. Goodbye, everybody. It's all over. Goodbye. It's time to go. This is the end. Say goodbye. You better go away. I'm gonna leave.